Hello, Silverbug. Hey, Bytes Watcher. What do we say? Working on Zane, I think. Yo? Why? Why are my clients not working? What's going on, man? Why is the Twitter client pooping itself? Hello, Armadon. Am I doing well? I am, thank you. I hope that you're doing well as well. Hello, Joe M on YouTube. Hello, hello. Okay, what is going on here? Okay, this is the first time that my clients are letting me down this way. Well, no, the LinkedIn client has let me down multiple times in the past. This is the first time that I'm not, but thanks for asking. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. My clients aren't doing so well either. What is going on here? Yeah, so Twitter failed to post. Toot posted. You know what? It's fine. Twitter sucks anyway. Okay. So here's what's the plan for today. The plan for today is to, well, kind of continue where I left off yesterday, which was improving front matter parsing, which I think we did. Maybe there's a couple more tests that I want to add just to make sure, but we currently pass all current test cases. So yeah, that's good. That's definitely good. This whole AI is replacing software engineers is making me feel jaded. Well, I would say don't feel bad about it because you know what? That's actually something that I maybe can share a couple I don't know, mildly meaningful words on. That also reminds me about this. I'm gonna leave this open. You guys can read it. In the meantime, and I'll go make tea. Is there any way to silence Zig build error messages and only use your custom ones? No, not that I know of. There might be a way of, like, it might be a worthwhile argument to make and say that maybe that should be an option, but currently there isn't. To be fair, it's like in a normal build process, those errors are not bad. They're useful. Also, if you have compile build errors, like if you have a compilation error somewhere, you can use -- prominent compile errors, and that will put the compile errors at the bottom so that you don't have to scroll. But yeah. I got the perfect scene for you, except the roller never comes. Okay, yeah, I want to talk about this stuff. So give me a sec. Let me go do the tea run. Okay, I'll be right back. let's see. I'm back. Yeah, greatsoftware.org. So, okay, let me catch up with things. I got the perfect scene for you. What is it? Oh yeah, I remember this this scene. No. Yeah. I mean, the game was probably running on Python, so that was his reaction time. The no was throwing exceptions. Yeah. Okay, so about the AI stuff. So this great software. I'm gonna call it a manifesto. So this is from Richard Feldman. He created this website. I don't know if he want. I think I was chatting with him, and he wasn't sure if he wanted to call this a manifesto. I'm gonna call it a manifesto anyway. For simplicity, I do think it's a manifesto. You know what? In my book, it's a manifesto, but I guess he can decide how he wants to think about it. But in any case, the idea is he wrote this partially as a reaction to the whole idea of vibe coding, right? The AI stuff. Honestly, I think that we should look at this stuff with a positive mindset. Let me put it this way. There are a lot of other fields right now that are being changed by AI. And the thing is, when something that previously, let's talk about translation, for example. The fact that previously you needed to pay somebody to do translation, and now you can get decent enough translations out of AI, I think that's a good thing. I think that the more stuff you can automate as a society, the better, right? Because it means that then that's something that you don't have. It's not a boring job that a human being has to do, and so now you can just have the automation do the work. It's like there used to be a time where they had to keep a guy inside the elevators, right? And now you don't need to have a guy inside the. Now, thank God, you don't have to be the guy that spends their entire day inside of an elevator to move people up and down. People, there's buttons. They just press the button. And I'm assuming that the reason why they used to have somebody operate elevators is because elevators could move up and down, but they didn't have the electronics to automatically get at the right level, open the doors at the right height, etc. So they had somebody to do that, basically the cybernetics work manually. So yeah, it's nice that now automation exists, and now one person doesn't have to sit in there anymore. That said, obviously that comes also with some downsides, because I would say nowadays elevators do a good enough job at reaching by themselves the right floor, and most of the time everybody's happy. But it's also true that AI is far from perfect, and so people are trying to squeeze it also into fields where the AI definitely does not do particularly well. I think that these things will automatically self-select for a threshold of quality that the audience wants, that the public wants. Meaning, I think that there are things that will be automated nicely, things that will be automated in a poor way. And I think that whenever things will be automated in a poor way, that opens the door for somebody to do the work in a non-automated fashion, but with a higher threshold, a higher quality threshold. And if you're in the business of creating quality software, honestly, this AI stuff is not gonna hurt you at all. Like, I guess what I would say is, as long as you get the opportunity to be able to focus on software quality a little bit, obviously, there's no perfect workplace. Every workplace has its own, like, the software quality has to bend for a variety of reasons. But if you're not in a slop shop, then you get to, I think you will basically see that job opportunities are still going to be there for you. And actually, the fact that software quality becomes more of a differentiator is going to be good, potentially. We should start automating CEOs. Same with telephone operators that would manually switch lines. Yeah. Or typist jobs. Yep. All good points. And even before then, like I wouldn't even argue that, like, here's in my opinion, a situation that more closely resembles what we're doing with AI right now. I think it's like basically painting versus photography. So the first people used to paint, and painting, like creating a still representation of a scene in reality, used to be entirely a human's job, the painter. And the painter used to be still is to some degree, right? But it's like a very fancy profession. Then the first cameras came out and they kind of sucked, but they could automate the job. And so then you started having people that clearly weren't as good as painters who could operate cameras. And so those were the first photographers. And then over time, cameras improved, photography improved, and now you have that photography is a legitimate form of art. Well, it's considered a legitimate form of art. And then paintings haven't gone away. They changed their role, sure. They become more of a niche thing. But that's fine, because it means that now you painters can focus more on interesting paintings and less on creating paintings of stupid fucking boring CEOs. The CEO can now get a picture, and that's going to be good enough. So writing great software is easy, just write it in Rust. Yep. I mean, it depends on how you interpret great, right? If by great you mean like big and bloated, then you should use C++. Sorry, this is a C++ hating channel, so beware. Photography can be expensive. Yeah, sure. But the point is that photography in the beginning wasn't nice, right? The first cameras were kind of crappy. And it took a long time for the technology of photography to become competitive with painting. But then now it is. And it grew into being its own thing. So what's going to be the trajectory of AI? I don't know for sure. Maybe it will plateau kind of where it is now. Maybe it won't. Maybe it will continue improving. Honestly, I'm somewhat optimistic. And while I don't believe for a second that some old man is going to discover AGI anytime soon, I think that's all bullshit. That said, the utility of these tools to support programming, I think it will improve significantly over time. Here's also another thing that AI is not really doing much that I find is kind of disappointing, which probably might potentially be like another way for it to improve in the future. The fact that AI models have been trained pretty much over stolen data, more or less. Like you remember Facebook employees running torrent clients on their computers, that kind of stuff. So since there's like an endless amount of copyright violation inside AIs, the AIs don't always give you sources, right? They don't keep memory of where they learned about a fact, where they saw given sentences or words. And I think a AI in the future, and that's annoying because if you think about it, these things would be 10 times more useful if they actually always provided sources. Every time they give you a reasoning, they always provided sources. Because they should have, they could have been trained to retain that information as well and to produce answers where alongside the collections of words that correctly relate to the query at hand also decorated the answer with sources. It would be so much better. And I think that will happen at some point in the future. It's kind of starting to happen already, because now what they are doing is that when you give the AI the ability to search the internet, then it will provide sources from internet searches. But I think I guess it's good, but it could be even better. So I don't know. I think over time, everything that will remain low quality, now there is more low quality stuff. And there will be more low quality stuff in the future. Yeah, sure, that's part of life. Okay, let me rephrase this argument also in yet another way. I remember reading a while ago stuff from Umberto Eco. For people who are not familiar with Umberto Eco, I guess it's an Italian writer guy, but he also went to the United States and he was giving lectures at some university in the United States. I don't remember which one. It's one of the big names. I just have bad memory. I'm like an AI. I'm having trouble remembering stuff. It's because I've been trained on copyrighted material and I just don't want to pay royalties. Anyway, so this guy has a bunch of very famous stuff. Yeah. I think I remember reading at some point somewhere, and again, I can't find a source because I tried to find that source, but I can't find it anymore. But I'm confident I read this, so be careful because I might be hallucinating this. But I remember seeing reading something from him. Hey, Bifrel, thank you for the resub. Good morning. So I remember reading something from him where he was saying that he was annoyed at the fact that now everybody could publish a book. That it used to be in the past that publishers would have there would be this form of curation where a publisher would only agree to publish a book if the book crossed a certain quality threshold. In his defense, I guess, right now you can see that if you go to Amazon Kindle or you go to Amazon at all, if you go to Amazon at all, you will see that you search the Zig programming book and you will find one legitimate book and an endless amount of slop. This is all slop. Maybe I generated, maybe not, but it's all slop. Like none of these books is a real book. This is all garbage. So in the defense of Umberto Eco, back when publishers back when publishers were gatekeepers to these kind of marketplaces, then you wouldn't have had this kind of stuff. That said, it's not like publishers have are like the ultimate test makers. They're companies. They kind of suck, like all companies. The people working at those companies are like boomers mostly. And like all boomers, they have boomer ideas. So if you present them with an idea that isn't boomer friendly, then they will reject it, thinking that it's low quality because they only appreciate boomer shaped ideas. And so at the end of the day, that is a trade-off too. So again, you can decide, like you could have a preference in which way you want to err, on the side of conservatism or on the side of, I don't want to call it like progress, maybe. Like you want a more rigid ecosystem or do you want a more promiscuous ecosystem? So here what you're seeing here is one bad outcome from promiscuity, but at the same time, the idea, liberal would be the word, maybe yes. But at the same time, you also have the fact that there are legitimate books that are self-published, and that's, in my opinion, a good thing. So where am I going with this? So I think that ultimately Umberto Eco was wrong because in the end, we have also a solution for navigating this sea of slop writing, which is recommender systems. Like, think about YouTube. YouTube is filled with videos, like endless amounts, but you have recommender systems, some in the form of the YouTube algorithm, some in the form of external social media link aggregators that share links independently. And so at the end of the day, recommender systems help you cut through all the different variety of things, some of which is going to be bad. And I think that is just a part of life. Taking the same idea one step back, if you think about it, your mouth is a recommender system for what you should eat and what you shouldn't eat. There's a lot of stuff out there that can reasonably fit in your mouth. Should you put all of it in your mouth? Probably not. What is going to help you guide your decision making towards what to put in your mouth or not? A variety of recommender systems, one of which comes built in with your mouth, which is your taste buds. So are your taste buds perfect? They're not. They will tell you to put in your mouth like I don't know, American candies with corn syrup and stuff. So yep, it's like it's not perfect, but it does still a pretty good job at preventing you from putting in your mouth, random grass, dirt, rocks. Most of the time, it doesn't work every time, but most of the time it works. So so what's the point? What's my point? I guess my point is that yeah, AI will certainly cause a wave of bad software to happen, but then systems will come out to filter out the bad stuff and prioritize the good stuff, like it always happens. Even happened with berries and plants in your mouth, and so yeah, life will go on. Let's see. I love what I do, and I love what I do, and I don't want it to go away. Not to mention putting food on the table and a roof over my head. I would say, Armadon, that if AI today is genuinely a threat to your sustenance, it means that the type of output that you make is comparable to the one of an AI, which currently is not all that great. So, like, I guess my point is that if AI today is genuinely a threat for you, it means that you have been working in an environment where you haven't been producing much value, in my opinion. So while obviously this would be like, how can I say, it's unfortunate that they get into a point where, I don't know, like company they work for fails because of that. But at the same time, it's a pretty bad place to stay in. So at the end of the day, in my opinion, you do want, regardless of what's happening with AI, you do want to move forward. And moving forward means I guess you can move forward in various directions, some of which could even mean, not doing programming, but staying in the direction where you do want to do programming. You can do better programming, and doing better programming will guarantee that you don't have to be scared of AI at all. But the thing is, humans do the same thing. Artists see images on Google. Oh yeah, for sure. Language models are not supposed to remember the training data verbatim anyways, based on understanding, based on my understanding. Yeah, that is correct. The fact that large enough models are able to remember and produce stuff from their training looks like a side effect of size, looks like overfitting. They could be trained to correctly, though, also remember sources. If you wanted, you could make an LLM that does that. They have been able to, like, for example, the chain of thought, like the reasoning part of models, that is the result of reinforcement training, where they train the AI to use thinking tags, and like so if you wanted to, you could do it for sure. It doesn't come automatically out of the box, because yes, the AI is not a database that contains like this, here's this entry, here's the location where I got it from, but you could make it remember it with the correct kind of training. Let's see, that can be gamed as well. End of the day, you should not be spending energy on filtering what's good. In education, too much slop is bad. Like 20% would be acceptable, maybe, but not 95%, like in this case. Well, I mean, the reality is that Zig just does not have books. This is, I would say this is more than 95%, because it's like one book versus a, I don't know, varying amount of slop. So it's like 1 against n. But the reality is that Zig right now just does not have books. So I don't know. It is what it is. And in the end, look, this marketplace is not doing all that bad, right? So the good book, the actual good book, has 4 stars, 4.2 stars out of 5. The real book would be Don't Panic. I think I'm gonna steal this. That's a nice play on words, nice reference. So yeah, so the marketplace is not doing a bad job. Like I think all these ones, the pragmatic programmer, journey to mastery. Okay, this one is not slop apparently. This one is a random book that has nothing to do with Zig. It just happened to be, I guess it's because of programming. It has programming and it's very popular. But like, look at all the other ones. They don't even have reviews pretty much. I think one of them, this one has a 1-star review. So these ones are being bought by nobody and they are not getting good reviews. So, this one, Introduction to Zig Programming, Simple Next Generation System Language, Japanese edition. 5-star, 3-star, 1-star. What? This is in Japanese. So maybe there was a good Zig book that we didn't know about. It just happened to be in Japanese. Read sample. Please tell me it's not slop. I can't tell if it's a slop or not. Unfortunately, I can't read Japanese, man. All these years reading mangas and anime gave me nothing. Anyway, so in any case, to conclude the AI stuff, so this is a manifesto from Richard Feldman. Great software. This idea about we should build great software. Great software runs fast, is reliable, it has thoughtful design, it respects the end user. It takes time to get right, but the result is worth the wait. It has preview releases, they're clearly marked, and the software doesn't stay in that state forever. So you have that. Is your Windows bork in a branch online somewhere? I think it's main bork. Oh, never mind. It's the v-axis branch. You want the v-axis branch. I should merge that into main. It's more than functional enough. Okay, so yeah. And if you think about it, this might remind you of something, right? Software you can love. For some of us, creating software is an end-to-end act. We care deeply about the experience that results from our work, just like a painter or a musician takes pride in their art. Software you can love conferences have a main day where blah, blah, blah. Unfortunately, a lot of software out there is not software you can love. Many of us are forced to write user-hosted software at work, and elegant solutions are often discarded in the pursuit of extravagant business models. As software you can love, we also want to learn how to protect ourselves from dark patterns, both as software engineers and users. So, also software you can love has its own version of that. Although, to be fair, this is shorter, but it's also more intertwined with the fact that it's conferences. Which keyboard do you use? It sounds nice. Thank you. But what you're hearing is not my keyboard. So I think that more of this stuff is going to come out. Technically, you also have the handmade network. Although the handmade network is a bit of a different beast. Computers are amazing. Computing has changed our lives for the better. Computers allow us to learn, connect with each other, and express ourselves in amazing new ways. And every year, our devices get more powerful, less expensive, and more accessible. Computers today, do they get more accessible? I'm not sure if more accessible is how I would describe new computers. I feel like every new generation of computers come out, it's less accessible than the previous one, to be honest. But for some definitions of accessible, like you remember back when having your RAM chips be soldered into your main motherboard was cringe? Remember when you could back when you could like swap in and out your memory sticks? Remember when Apple introduced the first It still is. What do you mean? Yeah. For some devices, yes. Remember the first time that Apple soldered a SSD chip into the computer's motherboard? Fucking Apple, man. People used to horribly cringe at this stuff. Now it's normal. So are new computers more accessible? I don't know. But in any case, so why is software so terrible? Why do high-end gaming PCs struggle to browse the web at 60 frames per second? Why does a simple calculator need a splash screen? Why does your phone's battery die so quickly? Why does each update make the problem worse? And why do we all use huge frameworks that no one understands? Why do our projects take minutes to compile? Why do we have to restart our language servers every 20 minutes? Man, it's like, is the answer to all these questions C++? Let me try if it works. Why do high-end PCs struggle to browse the web at 60 frames per second? C++. Why does a simple calculator need a splash screen? C++. Why does your phone battery die so quickly? C++. And why does each update make the problem worse? C++. Why do we use huge frameworks that no one understands? That one is not C++. That one is more like JavaScript, yeah. Why do our projects take minutes to compile? Oh, C++. Also JavaScript for some reason. It's like, JavaScript is the interpret language that has the slowest compile times of them all. Why does my interpret language take so long to compile? I don't know, man. It's just JavaScript. Oh my god. Why do we have to restart our language servers every 20 minutes? C++. Why does everyone think this is fine? C++? We made it terrible. We programmers have made it terrible through our thoughtless behavior. We rewrite our apps in new languages rather than measure everything. We just assume it will be better. We ship thousands of dependencies to our users to save ourselves a few minutes of effort. We build towers of abstractions, forget how they work, and then build new ones on top. This is engineering. We're building Rube Goldberg machines, and users are paying the cost. You might have learned that programming about classes is about classes, monads, or type systems. C++? No. You might have been taught to make your code clean, abstract, and future-proof. None of that matters when the end result is garbage. But there is another way. This manifesto is a little bit too low level, in my opinion. I think the great software one, by being more high level, is more accessible and makes more sense. Making fast software means setting performance goals and then measuring. It means aiming to speed things up over time, even if adding new features slow things down by default. It means choosing tools that can achieve our performance goals, even if it takes us longer to learn those tools or to build with them. Making reliable software means finding problems and then fixing them. It means using tools that catch problems before the software ships, and also for reporting problems in the wild. It means talking to people about their experiences using the software to learn things that the automated tools missed. Then it means taking the time to fix problems, even if that delays a new feature. There are plenty of other good reasons to make software: for fun, for learning, for art, for pay, and the list goes on. We want to make great software because we want to enjoy great software. We want others to enjoy it as well. The process may involve some combination of learning, fun, art, and pay, but it may also involve putting other considerations ahead of those. If we aim high and fall short, it should be because we made mistakes by accident, not because we cut corners on purpose. We want to build software this way, not because we think it's the easiest way or the quickest. Wait, not because, oh, he said we think. Okay, I was about to make the joke. Not because we think it's the easiest way or the quickest or the cheapest, but because great software will only exist if someone builds it. Nice ending sentence. So we'll see where this idea of great software goes. So far, it's just a website with these text on it, and that's it. Anyway, Okay, back to Zin. So what are we doing? What are we doing? Lang servers is TypeScript. I mean, well, I mean, we know from first-hand experience that sometimes also the Lang servers that are not written in TypeScript kind of poop themselves. We've seen this with my with my language servers. We've seen this with ZLS. So such is life. Let's see. I'm about to break a brand new M4 Mac Mini by desoldering those shitty little NANDs and reflowing some bigger ones. Wait, you're actually doing it for real? Wait, can you do it? I mean, not because I'm expecting this to be impossible. It's because isn't Apple like lately like writing down every serial number of every component, and if you swap them out, then it will refuse to boot. I know that they do it for phones. I assume they also did that on other computers. Maybe they're just not there yet. Okay, so here's what I was doing yesterday. Yesterday, I have introduced, I basically made front matter parsing better. Originally, the way I did this was that you have the Ziggy format. Okay, for people who don't know anything about this stuff, this is Ziggy. It's a JSON replacement language. It's version 001. It's like, it kind of works. Some ideas I probably want to change a little bit, but the basics are there. And it's like, it's a superset of JSON. I'm using it as a front matter language for my static site generator. So when I make a website, oh my God, why am I failing? So when I make a website content file, you can see that the front matter here uses my language. What you're seeing here, this is a top-level struct literal, but in Ziggy, a top-level struct literal can either have the curlies or it can omit them. So you can omit top-level curlies if you want and just keep the body, and that way you can reclaim one level of indentation. Now, to use it as a front matter, normally you want to do the -- thing at the top of the file, which I'm also doing. And the way I originally structured the parsing work was you have a Ziggy file format parser, you have a external thing to the parser that detects where these delimiters are, and then it feeds to the parser basically the text inside. The problem is that this requires like look ahead and buffering in case that you are reading off of a stream, for example. So in general, this is not the greatest approach because you have to like, I guess at its core, the problem is that you're doing look ahead. You don't want to do look ahead if you can avoid doing look ahead. So how do we not do look ahead? The way I did this is, well, let's extend the language a little bit by having the front matter markers be a token that the tokenizer recognizes. And so the idea is instead of having a separate class dedicated, like a separate type, that's how it was originally. Like I have this front matter thing, which has, it's a front matter parser, which does the look ahead thing that I mentioned. So it does the look ahead, finds the triple dash. Once it finds the second triple dash, it's buffering in the meantime, or every line that it read in the meantime, and so it returns the text between these two markers, which then gets fed to a normal Ziggy parser. But now I'm changing this to saying no. Now, wait, where is it? Now the parser accepts in parse option. God damn it. Accepts in parse options a optional front matter meta, with the idea being, if you leave this to null, you're parsing up your Ziggy file. I should say leave it set to null when parsing up your Ziggy file, and instead, when providing a value means that you are parsing a front matter embedded in a document. e.g. supermd. In this case, the parser will expect the document to start with --, otherwise it will return an error. Maybe this way I will expect the document to start with a Ziggy document embedded between two lines. Let's follow the column limit. Okay, so front matter meta. So if you provide front matter meta, then while parsing, this will also collect number of lines that the front matter occupies, including the lines occupied by the triple dash. Yeah, okay. Byte offset where the front matter ends. Yeah, also byte offset. So that's awesome. And the idea is the main parsing work. Then now, if, for example, before we try to parse a value out of the document, the way it works is that if we have a front matter meta, then we expect the first token to be a front matter token, a ---- token. And if it's not, then we complain. So I was messing with this yesterday. I was implementing it, and I had some tests that weren't passing. So let me see. Zig build test. No, this is Borg. What am I doing? Go away, Borg. I think I got them all to pass. Or maybe not. What do we have here? 2 failed. Expected 36, found 35. Okay, I almost got them to pass. So I had trouble counting lines. Now I don't have trouble counting lines anymore. Now this is all done. The next problem is that I'm disagreeing on the length of these things. And yeah, I know how to solve this. So this is easy. So the way this works is offset is token lock.end, but let me think. I think with the end location, we're not counting it correctly. So let's go back into the tokenizer and let's change that a little bit. So basically we want, that's what we want. We want the front matter to include this last thing. And this is the only case where we finalize a front matter. Well, this is one of the 2 cases where we finalize a front matter token. This is where we actually see the end. This is when the string ends a little bit short, but it has the same side effect. So with this, we should be good in theory. Last famous words, huh? Ends are blank. When you put blank ones in and write firmware/OS into it, it pairs with their T2 security chip. Easy peasy. Nice. Gonna stream it on Toggle's Discord. Wow. Okay. So we successfully passed our tests. So now it works. This is making me think that maybe we should now try and use this and see how that works. So let's switch back to Zine for a moment. We're gonna do some more Ziggy work today. Like this is gonna be my main job, I think, for a few days more. But let's switch back to Zine in the meantime. Let's go to page parse. Who's doing the parsing? I think it's page.parse. So here's how it works. Find the path, read the entire file, and then we are using the shitty Ziggy front matter parser, which gives us the data, but then also some metadata and some other, like, look at this, how disgusting it is. It wasn't even giving us the number of lines. So we had to rerun over the entire source code and count new lines in there. Absolutely. And then do +2 because that doesn't count for the two dash lines. Horrible. Absolutely disgusting. So let's improve on this. Let's use the new API. I think that we don't need any of this stuff if we use the new API. So let's see how it works. So it's going to be Ziggy.parser. No, parse leaky. And I think for now it's fine for us to parse leaky into GPA. We're going to fix this later. Code is going to be full source. Okay. Full source. And then options. And in options, we want to do the front matter. Oh, is it Ziggy.formatter meta? Also, we need to catch errors. This was catching fatal file. Right, because it was... right, this now can only... I believe. Do we have an guard? We have an guard. So this is now a try, I think. Where is front matter meta in Ziggy? It's in parser, isn't it? Parse options. Oh, it's even inside parse options. Okay. Kind of annoying. Kind of annoying. You know what? Let's make it nicer on us. Let's move these to the top level, I think. Do we have root in here? We don't have root. We have diagnostic, taken from diagnostic. Okay, you know what? Let's leave it at that. And then we go into root, and then we say parse leaky is parsed on parse leaky, pub const. There we go. Okay, so now we should be able to use it directly. So from enter meta, leave it undefined. Well, leave it default initialized. Pass it down. I think this is really just a try. And then this has a result, which goes into P. There's more, though. Right. Now that I think about it, I think I need to pass more to options. Wait a second. What about diagnostics? Right. We also want a diagnostic to pass down. I didn't have to pass diagnostic to the other guy because I think he did it internally. Do we have any diagnostic in here? No, we never did, right? Where do the diagnostics go, though? They were inside like the result, maybe? I don't remember. Okay, we do need to pass diagnostics, though. And you have to set a path. What's it called? Path bytes. Okay. So this is awesome. With this, we have everything. And I just try this. And look at how much garbage we're getting rid of. We do want to restore scan after we do this. Then, oh, this is not just a try. Wait, this is not just a try. This is a catch. Oh, right. And we also want to switch. Keyboard. Keyboard is called clack. You're listening to Milky Yellow. If you want to hear cream, it's a software keyboard. It's to give you guys a better ASMR experience. It only has one flow that if I keep a button pressed, now the immersion breaks. I actually emailed the creator of that thing to tell them to fix this. This is the only thing that they need to fix. If they fix this, this is the fucking perfect software. And I'll, you know what? Maybe at some point I should start lying to people and tell them, oh yeah, it's just my super fancy keyboard. Well, the problem is that I have this bad boy, which is great, but it doesn't sound good. Like, it's an awesome keyboard, but it doesn't have that super awesome clacky feeling, unfortunately. Did you mod it though? I did not mod it, no. Oh, you mod? Oh man! So you desoldered everything and then resoldered everything. That's a lot of work. You know, you sound like the kind of, okay, given that you're doing all this work, so you probably are familiar, like you're used enough to do a good job. I feel like I would bungle mine horribly. Honestly, I would be willing to pay for somebody to do this work because I understand the value of it, and I just don't want to do it myself because I'm gonna bungle it. I don't have good hands. My hands are like, they're functioning, but not too well. Okay, so the idea here is that parse has a status, and status contains various kinds of failures. So we need to somehow represent whether we failed at the front matter level, we failed at the somewhere else, that kind of stuff. Soldering stream incoming. Man, I'm so bad at it. So we're gonna need to fix some of these error reporting stuff because it's absolutely necessary. Absolutely necessary. Well, you know what? Let's do this for now. Just to make it build. I want to see this. Well, I want to see that error. I actually don't want to make it build. I want to see that fail. I love hardware. I love it so much. I will pay people to hack hardware for me. Yeah, kind of same. Missing strat field lines. What do you mean missing strat field? What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? Front matter meta, it doesn't have default values. How the heck did I make this work? I guess I set them to undefined. And that's, oh yeah, I did. Although, you know what? Let's leave it undefined. I think leaving this stuff undefined in tests is not a bad idea because it's gonna catch mistakes. In this case, this is fine. Although default could be undefined also for us. But anyway. Okay, so this is done. What's the next problem? Accepted for arguments found 3. Oh, we're missing the type. Yeah. Okay, what's the next problem? Expected a zero terminated thing, and it's not zero terminated. Yes, we want read file alloc with options. Is that it? Man, I forget what the other one is called. Oh, without just options. Okay. Okay, tell me. Allocation, yes. File path, yes. Max byte size, yes. Size int. I don't know. I don't have a hint for you, sorry. Alignment, 1 is fine. Optional sentinel, 0. Yes. There we go. It's not diagnostics. Is it diagnostic? There we go. Okay, so here's the errors. Overflow, out of memory, syntax, missing front matter, open front matter. Okay. Let's design how this error handling should look like. I would say overflow and out of memory should basically be considered both ooms. I think it's fine. So I'm going to them. Oh, also, you know what? I'm going to handle them directly. So yeah, just immediate ooming. Then second problem is syntax, error.syntax. Actually, let's do that in order. Isn't formatter meta the default null for pure Ziggy files? It is, but in this case, we're not reading a pure Ziggy file. Here we are reading a super MD file, and we want to parse out the front matter. So this is what we're doing. We're basically, this is the parsing code of page.zig, and page is a markdown file with these fields set in the front matter. So error dot. So I'm thinking that maybe we should do just error dot front matter, and we say that the error is at line and at we expect to find this information inside front matter meta. So let's not make it missing front matter. Let's just say front matter, maybe just error dot front matter. Although not having one no, you know what? Yeah, let's do it this way. So missing front matter. What do we do? Okay, we have to decide what we do with missing front matter. I don't remember. I think so. Originally, we had this p-parse status. Hey, Dan Week, thank you for the $5 to the ZSF. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you very much. So we're looking at parse status. We were looking at Ziggy from matter result. Yeah, let's not do that anymore. Although, you know what? Let's briefly inspect it. It had success, Ziggy error, framing error, and empty. Right, we had also the empty case, which it was given to us by the front matter parser. It doesn't have to do that anymore, so let's take this out. Oh yeah, sorry. Doesn't sound good when I keep the button pressed, huh? So this is going to be empty, but it's not going to be suggested by the front matter. We set it ourselves. So it can be empty. It can be front matter, meaning there's an error in the front matter. And so we left it at that. And then it can be, and maybe we make this a union so that front matter contains the front matter error. So we have front matter and then we have um, okay, and front matter contains what? A Ziggy dot front matter meta. Below fields are only available if status equals success. There's also front matter analysis errors. But that one is fine like this. Although this is also mutually exclusive with status, to be honest. To be honest, this is also mutually exclusive. But in any case, we can fix this later. Also, source. I think we should put source above because source should be present always. Why should source not be present? We need source also to report errors. So sounds like a Geiger counter. Yeah. Strange food. Okay, FM offset. We don't really need that. Although there is information inside front matter meta that we kind of do want to keep around regardless. Oh, wait, give me a sec because I don't want to leak my private messages. Let me take a look. Okay, I'm not leaking anything. Holy cow. Yes, me too, please. Me too. Does it actually sound good? Like, I fear that one of the reasons why this keyboard doesn't sound all that great is, well, of course the switches, but also maybe the shape, the fact that it doesn't have like a shape that guarantees optimal, creaminess. Okay, so here's the question for you then, Enrico. Do you have a recording where we can hear your clacks? I want to hear your clacks. Oh, right. So you did also padding. That's good. I want to hear your clacks. I'm on Arch though. It's hard to make everything work. Brand new Model F with solenoid. What am I looking at? No, that's not it. Well, if you have a link, play some video with it. What is this insanity? Yeah, please go. If you find it, I'll take a look. Thank you. Okay, so how do we model this stuff? Ziggy front matter meta. let's see. Ziggy.front matter meta. Do we keep it here? And then we look at status. Something like this. Empty means that the file is empty. Front matter means that there was an error. Okay, let's make this a multi-line thing so we can model this. File is empty or just contains white space. Although, you know what? I'm not sure if I want to do that. Oh, in a comment, it doesn't match around parentheses. That is funny. Okay, front matter. Error parsing the front matter. I guess the problem is whether it's missing or error parsing the front matter. Error, well, it's not just parsing. Let's say error could not find the front matter. Front matter framing error, but I don't think FM will contain info. Maybe we can make an error here. So missing, it's going to be either missing front matter. Do we save the error in here? Missing front matter or I think this can be expressed like this. Front matter error. So we isolate this front matter error stuff. We put it in here. Yeah, okay. 9 seconds. Jesus Christ. So is this like just triggering the solenoid inside of the keyboard digitally on any press? What is going on? What is happening? Jesus. It's a physical solenoid, yes, but okay, so that I understand correctly, there's like one solenoid in the keyboard, and so every time you press a button, it hits, there's that one solenoid that hits a surface, right? And so you have this. Yes, but you can turn it off, right? Why would you? Why would you? Oh, it doesn't even have a physical switch. Like it's controlled by a key combination. Oh my god. So it's software controlled. Man. It's like that thing gives you PTSD after a while. Okay, I was about to say, wait, where did my tabs go? There's a guy who makes brand new Model F keyboards. They're the best. You can buy a solenoid for it. Nice. Okay, front matter framing error. FM will contain info. Okay. Then we have empty front matter error. Okay. Then we have a Ziggy error, and we store diagnostics for it in there. So we say Ziggy parsing error. I don't know why I put these things uppercase. So Ziggy parsing error. And that's going to be the other half of the error set. I don't know. Actually, that's just syntax. The only error is syntax, but then this can be that contains the diagnostic. Okay, and then okay, I like this. This is very decent. This is all very decent, I would say. Yes, this is definitely all very decent. I like this, so I'm keeping this like this. What do we do next? FM will contain info. We need to make front matter error. So let's go isolate the front matter error. So const error is diagnostic error Zig error. Is it single pipe or double pipe? I think it's double pipe, right? To concatenate error sets. Are we happy with here? Here we're happy. Are we happy here? Oh, we're probably not super happy. Z from matter error. I didn't save this. Which must handle all possibilities. Okay, so this is status. So in parse, here's what we do. We do full source, and then we say if full source.len equals 0, then here's what we do. We do p.scan, p.parse. And then what do we set in there? We set source. So that happens unconditionally. That should happen unconditionally the moment we read this. Actually, you know what? Let's, to avoid confusion, let's put it there. So it immediately goes there. Then, oh, but then we're going to set it. No, you know what? Never mind. Okay. Let's put it there. Then we do p dot parse dot status equals empty. And then we return. An empty thing should probably parse empty. Available if status is not empty. Okay, perfect. So we set source and status. Was there anything else that we wanted to set? Active. Active. Right. About active. I guess we want active to be set to false. Although, no, I think that active is set by the parent. I think that active is set by something else. Let me see. Were we setting active ourselves in here? Oh, yes, we were. I would say that if a file is empty, then active is false. You know what? Let's do it like, let's be explicit about it. Okay, and then everything else we're gonna set to undefined when we get a complaint. Like we explicitly set stuff to undefined, so we make it more clear. So this is like the empty case. And if it's not empty, we try to parse. If we get missing front matter or error dot open front matter. So these are framing errors with front matter. Hello, void chose father. So if we have a front matter parsing error, well, framing error actually. So we have a front matter framing error. We set active to false. Well, no, we set active to true. Does it even matter? We set active to true because the page is active. We set the source. Status is not empty. Status is going to be front matter. Actually, does it have a payload? Yes, it does. And this is going to be FM error. And then we set FM as well. And so that will give us some hints as to what's wrong. And then we return. Okay, this is pretty nice. So then error.syntax means that we framed the front matter correctly, but we got a syntax error. Yeah, we framed everything correctly, but we got a syntax error. How do we deal with this? So active is true, full source is full source. We keep the front matter information around. Status is not going to be front matter, but status is going to be Ziggy. And we save the diagnostic. Not bad. So we save the diagnostic. That is actually really not bad. We save the diagnostic and then we leave. What other errors could be there? Missing start field FM. Yeah. No field name framing error. Where am I mentioning framing error? Oh, this is another file. Right, so we were missing some stuff. Okay, so here I'm handling all errors, apparently. So this is it. So this is how we deal with all errors. This is very nice. So if we get here, then it means that we succeeded. We restore scan. Ooh, about that. We want to restore scan, I think, no matter what. I think we kind of want to defer restoring scan. Okay, so you know what? This brings me to the next problem. The next problem is it's one of these guys. So here the problem is that I think that we basically, yeah, we override every field here. We are overriding every field, which is unfortunate, which forces us to save scan and then restore scan, basically. I guess we can do this. Okay, that way, because otherwise we would need to restore scan in every one of these situations, but with this we just defer it. That's better. I think a better way of doing this would be accepting a pointer and then only setting things that you need to touch. Instead of giving it a default value. But I guess that's fine. Okay, so with restore scan, I do want to be able to ignore fields, though. That would be nice. Let's make this work, though. Once we are done making this work, then we can continue integration. We can do another level of improvement. So what are we missing here? What we're missing is definitely validate front matter. So we need to validate the front matter, and we do that correctly. How does it work? What if there is no error at all? So we get here. So I'm setting p.parse. P.parse, this is true, this is full source, front matter. Status is going to be dot okay. AST, I don't have, so we need to procure ourselves an AST. Kind of like this. Let's see. Let's see what we're going to need to make this work. So can I give it the full source? Let's see. Proud of myself. Recording audio in Arch for you in general. Oh. Pause. That is indeed some very nice clacking. Click to remove. Okay. I was about to give you a second heart. That is some nice clacking. I'm gonna listen to it again. Hello, Viru. So this is nice. This is really nice. I'm amazed. So for people who don't know, like this keyboard is very comfy, but it just does not sound good at all. The difference, like the upgrade is like gigantic. It's awesome. You can find some keyboards that I think can have like even an even clockier sound than this. Where everything is designed to be super clocky and like sound super great. But they're gonna be like very non-ergonomic in my opinion. So like, do your sound. Yeah, I can try it. Like, let me see. Do I have filters on? I don't have no suppression on, so I can do it. I guess I'm gonna open a random file, I guess. I'm gonna disable clack. So now you don't hear. Not very ASMR, I would say. Not very ASMR at all. Okay, one last listen, and then I continue. I resume my work. That's good. Nice. Okay, so we tell super MD. So we can do this now. We can say full source fm dot offset. So we can pass a substring from where the front matter ends. And that's our AST. So that works. The problem is we're not informing this guy about, like, it would be nice, and maybe this is not possible because I'm using a C library, but what I would like is to have this fucking thing understand that it might have a front matter in the beginning, and so it just needs to start at an offset. But I don't think there's not anything explicit about there's nothing explicit about a front matter. But if we look at the interface, is there something to move forward? Some kind of byte cursor thingy when parsing? I don't think there's a way. CMark parser new with options. What's options? Right, options is an integer, so can't you pass a different slice? Yes, I can. But if I pass a different slice, then now all the offsets will be out of whack. I will need to basically readjust line numbers. I will need to readjust a lot of things. Which, I mean, it can be done. That's what I was already doing. I was hoping that this thing could be made better in a sense. CMark parser feeds a string of length len to the parser. Parser finish parsing a return pointer to a tree of nodes. Parse document. Parse a common marked document in buffer or length len. Returns a pointer to a tree of nodes. The memory allocated for the node should be released using CMark node free when it's no longer needed. Then there's parse file. Render this, render that, render HTML, render whatever, render common mark, render plain text, render LaTeX. So yeah, there doesn't seem to be a way of saying, look, I know that I'm giving you this stuff, but also move forward. No. So long story short, the only way is to giving it a substring and then adjust line offsets manually by ourselves. So that's fine. Okay, so with this, we have that done correctly. I think we're kind of good at this point. Wait, there's other shit that gets set, like FM offset needs to go away. We don't return, and then we call validate front matter. Okay, so that sounds good. What else do we have under parse then? So we have these FM analysis errors, and then we have AST. I'm gonna move AST above because this thing takes it's gigantic. Right, but the AST says, okay, the AST should only be available if... Okay, so I think this is going to be the next thing that we improve. Let's make this work, and then here's the problem. The problem here is that I have validate front matter. And then, so in theory, following this, what I should do is if p dot underscore parse dot... Oh, also, you know what I'm doing wrong? Here's what I'm doing wrong. By doing the fur scan equals scan, I'm making the mistake that now I have an overridden underscore scan, which I might be consulting in here. And that the thing is wrong right now. P.aliases, am I not using anything from scan? It seems that I'm not. Oh, but I am consulting stuff from parse. What a mess. So I guess I would need to set parse, but then on the AST. Okay, so this is all kind of janky. So here's how it should work. Basically, I have this validate front matter step that is done independently, that in my opinion should be done with the parser. So here's what I'm doing is saying, look, the Ziggy file parse correctly, but then there's some extra validation that I'm doing on top of it, and I'm doing it as a separate step. What I would like is actually to have a validator system where basically I give to the Ziggy parser a validator function, and then the validator function can basically write down errors whenever fields don't pass validation, basically. That's the idea. Let's see if we can make that happen. But in any case, first I want to watch these actually compile. Okay, let's see. No field name framing error. Okay, so we go back into main. And now we need to deal with error reporting for these guys. So let's see how it works. All active pages have been loaded and parsed. We sort all the pages. Then we say, okay, for variant, for every page, if the page is not active, we continue. Which means that we are printing the empty page warning not from here. How does that work? Well, we'll see. In any case, page.status. Okay, now we have different things. Oh, wait, so in a sense, here we were assuming that the page was active, but then it had an empty but then we set to empty. And so that's what we would do. Fine, let's not break that thing, I guess. So let's continue doing that also for empty. So an empty page is active. Then we have framing error. So this is now front matter. We have the front matter error here now. Error, front matter framing error. Yes. But then there's some information that we need to put here, I think. Error dot okay. So in this case, we are reporting correctly front matter error. Then we have the Ziggy error. In our case, it's just going to be Ziggy. And it has diagnostics for us. We also want the line. The line is not going to be error.line. The line is going to be page._parse.fm.line offset. I don't remember. Is it line offset? No, it's lines. Plural. Okay. Sounds good. Okay. Then we have a Ziggy error. And we're printing the Ziggy error. So the thing prints itself. It doesn't print itself very nice, but it does print itself. And then we have success, which is now okay. And then we go into printing layout errors. Okay, are we done? No field name FM offset line 312. Right. So when reporting SuperMD errors, now it's fm.offset. Okay, we built. Do we pass our tests? Let's see, binary files, snapshot and snapshot differ. Binary files? Wait, what am I missing? Page first line, dash, dash, dash. Oh, snap. What? The first line shouldn't be that. Oh, no. So we're definitely missing something. So first line shouldn't be dash, dash, dash. And then this is saying that content scanning collision snapshot is a binary file. That shouldn't be a binary file. Oh, no. Okay. Let's see. First of all, we want to correct this for sure. We don't want the first line of our documents to be considered the dash, dash, dash. That's not how it should work. So let's go fix that and then we'll see the rest. I'll be right back. Just a quick bathroom break. Why do we think the first line is that thing? Why? This should be... This is really surprising to me. Oh, no, you know why? I know why. I know why. It's because we are making the mistake here of thinking that we use source. Okay, you know what? Let's rename this from source to full source so that it's clear that it's something different. And let's add a function for getting... Or you know what? Well, we don't even need the function, but now we know that it's full source. p.parse.fm offset. There we go. This should be better. Or maybe not. We're not building. What's going on? Full source. Full source. Full source. Full source. Give me build errors. Okay, we passed. This worked. But we failed at diff. Okay, this thing that's the prints page first line is annoying. Where does it do that? Oh, god damn it. So I think in meta source, we want to put a substring, I guess, at this point. This is in worker. In meta, where's meta source stuff that we do? Oh, as usual. Page first line is empty string every single time. Empty string every single time. That surprises me. Because I would argue... Oh, it's the fact that we start from the new line. So we always start with a new line. I mean... I think that if it ends with a new line, we should do +1 also. The problem is that this is going to fuck up our tests. You know what? It's fine. Yes, it's fine that it starts with a new line. Okay, what's the problem with our tests here? What are we diffing wrong? So collisions snapshot differ. Those are binary files according to this guy. What? Here's why it's thinking that it's a binary file. What are those? Unexpected invalid, expected string at or line string. So we are basically feeding a path to something. That path is based on bytes that don't exist. How? So this is happening, I believe, inside of us reporting Ziggy errors. Expected string at, this is a Ziggy error. So this is happening in main. So before this, it's here. Yes. The problem is that diagnostic contains a wrong path, a path that doesn't exist. Right, because the one from above was heap allocated, and here we kind of need to recreate it. So to be honest, the fact that we set it in on the other side is actually more of a mistake than anything else, because we're never going to save that stuff. So page, where's diagnostics? Path equals undefined. I should put this in the usage path. Where is it? I could heap allocate that stuff, but I don't see any. I don't see why to do that. Ziggy parsing error. Note. You know what? I'll set it to null. Not that the diagnostic has its path field. Yeah, so instead of undefined, let's do null. Okay. Cannot assign to constant. Okay, there we go. So that's nice. So what's happening here is that in collisions, we now think there's a we think that there's a syntax error in the Ziggy at line 9. Whoops. And so that's what's tripping this this snapshot test. So we clearly this thing, let's go double check what's in that file, but it seems that it shouldn't have an error, And so that's a problem with our parser, I think. Changes that we made to the tokenizer. So page.smd in there. Nested slash path slash page smd. Okay. Line 9. Oh, you know what's going on here, I think? I think we messed up something related to comments. I bet you that if I take this comment out, then this is going to succeed. Yeah, it succeeds, and this becomes the only diff. But so we broke something relative to comments. Well, you know what we're going to do? We're going to take this and make a text case out of it in Ziggy. It's a tokenizer problem. So this is where we're going to put it. Okay, what do we expect? Dot identifier equal right square bracket. Then string comma. And a bunch of those. Left square bracket. And then a comment. That's kind of what this should be, right? Dot identifier equal sign right square bracket string comma comment string comma left square bracket. Oh, there's a comma uf. Okay, let's watch this fail horribly. So this is gonna be comment in array. String literal contains invalid byte. Tab. Is that part of the problem? Type enum literal does not support field access. 591. We're gonna tabs are not well. You would have to put, I think, /t in a multi-line string literal. Let's see. Expected Ziggy RSB found LSB. Oh, did I swap them around? Yeah. There we go. Tokenizer in comment array failed. Ziggy tokenizer expected comment found invalid. How did I break comments? What did I do to comment to break it? Identifier string comment start comment I think this was unconditional before. And this was always going back to a new line. This was always starting with a new line. State start. So we were always rolling back and then going back to start. Yeah, so this was always rolling back and going back to start. So I think they should be like this. Let's see. Extract the comment found tokenizer string. Wait, did I miscount? String, comma, comment, string, comma, RSB, comma. Oh. I forgot that I need to set that to true. Okay, so this works. I think that was the problem. Is this how this works? Do you put a /t? Are just tabs not allowed, period? Oh, pet token. Okay, so never mind. Yeah, tabs are just not allowed, period. Okay, in any case, this works. Let's see how we're doing with Zin now. There we go. We passed tests now. Now that comment is not a problem anymore. Okay, so we fixed that bug. That's awesome. What's next? Let's try maybe with multiple comment lines. Actually, you know what? We don't need a new test for this. We can just change this one. Okay, we're good. Okay, so this means that we have correctly integrated the new front matter parsing interface, and it all works, and I'm very happy with this. Next is take a look at the validator interface. So, and ignore fields, one of the two. So one thing that I want to do with Ziggy, right now, this is awful. Let's look at page. So this is very ugly. Basically, I don't want to serialize nor deserialize this field. And so I have to basically specify a custom stringifier and a custom parser for it, where I stringify it as nothing, well, as like a left bracket and a right bracket, and then I parse those, and then I return undefined. And I would just like to say, please ignore, Ziggy, please ignore this field. With the idea being, if I ask you to ignore this field, then you set it to undefined if it has no default value, or you set it to the default value if it has a default value. Ideally, probably you want to have this have a default value. Yeah, and then you set it to undefined if you want. So never mind. Yeah, you basically force this thing to have a default value. How do we make this work? In my opinion, it should work like this. I think that the parent struct should define its own Ziggy options, and in its own Ziggy options, it should say skip this field, basically. So here's what I want to do next. I'm gonna do this. This is how I want these things to look like. There's a parse function. Where's the main Ziggy stuff? Because I think the main type also has a Ziggy. Is it at the bottom? It's not at the bottom. Also, we don't have a Ziggy namespace. What was the name of those Ziggy namespaces? Ziggy options. Yes. So what I would like is something like this. Something like skip fields. We can make it a struct. Or maybe we can do it like this. Fields. Then we say dot. How do we do this? How do we express that we want to skip certain fields in an efficient manner? So I could create an array of enum fields, but it's also bad. I guess we could make them bools. No, we want to make them vars, maybe. So like we make pub var equals false. What's a good way of specifying this stuff? I don't want to use arrays because that requires linear scanning. Although that would be comp time linear scanning, I think. Also, you know what? This should be var. Var fields. Yeah. Var fields. Okay, you know what? Let's make this an array. Maybe it's not that bad. This is gonna be a slice of std.meta dot field enum. Is that a thing? It is. Field enum returns an enum with the variant named after each field of t. And we make it const. And this is skip fields then. And we say, I want to skip dot underscore scan. I want to skip dot underscore parse. I want to skip dot underscore meta. Yeah. And they're all expected to have default values. Kind of like this. Okay, how would that look like in Ziggy? So we want to go into parser. We want to look into parse struct. In parse struct, we have a type. Let's see how we do it. So we look at tokens. We expect to find dot identifier. The identifier tells us what the field name is, equal fname field name. So what we need to do next is say, okay, if fields seen I think before that we say maybe as strings it would be better. No, but field enums are nice. So if the type has decl t, it has Ziggy options, if type of let's get it here. If type of skip fields is different than std.meta Okay, we compile error. So now we have the right kind, the right type. We have a field name. So now what we want to do is we want to do string to enum to that field name. And then we want to check if it's in there. Also, we do this here in a loop, but it doesn't matter because all this stuff gets resolved already. So field enum becomes meta.string to enum. Is that it? Yeah. So field enum of t, that's the field name. Okay, we create a field enum. What do we do with it? So what if it's null? Well, it cannot be null, so dot question mark. Then what we want to do is actually, it can be null. Let me see. Yeah, because so far we haven't done anything. So yeah, there's a noun field basically. That's what we want to do. Actually, we don't even need these guys, I think. Or else return add error. And then, okay, so now we know that it's actually a field name. And then we check if it's inside of that array. That's a runtime value check against a list of values. This is not exactly optimal though. Like we were basically doing a linear scan for every field. That kind of sucks. What's in fields scene? It's a list of locations. You know what though? Maybe for now it's fine. Yeah. So then we can do std.mem.index of scalar. Scalar being std meta.field enum of the slice is going to be skip fields. And the value is going to be our field enum. If this value is different than null, then oh, it's still super long. That's so annoying. Oh well. If found, well, you know what? At this point, might as well. So if we find it, then we what do we want to do? We want to return an error, right? We want to say, well, this field is not supposed to be there. We can treat it as an unknown error, actually. We can treat it as an unknown error. So we kind of want to basically break away from this. So what we want to say is So if there is an enum, okay, if there is an enum, else, is that what we want to do? Else we break. No, we actually want to return an error. It is an unknown field. If we do this, if we can find it. If we can find it, then we'd say, okay, is it one of the skip fields or not? If it is not one of the skip fields, if it's not one of the skip fields, we return break. If we do find it, then we return unknown field. Okay, I think I'm happy with this. Do we break stuff horribly? Seems not. What does Zin say? Yo, Loris, a few days ago I commented about a terminal library. So I kind of started doing one, and apart from some mouse capturing bugs, the thing that is the worst part right now is making Windows things. Yeah. All cases of union must be of struct type. Parser. Parser 146. Okay, it's definitely not that simple. So we need to have more metaprogramming. So what's going on here? 146. Right, parse value. If it's a struct, we call parse struct. I think there's some metaprogramming going on after this that is unfortunate. For info fields, FIDX. Well, here's what we can do. Oh, there's also a better way of implementing this, I think. Wait a second. Instead of a pre-check, we can do it in here, and we can say, because the index is going to be the same value as the enum. So we're kind of already doing this. So maybe what I should say is this, is in line 4 fields. Oh yeah, no, okay. I think it's fine to leave it there. Basically, the only thing that I want to do is take out from this iteration. I want to take out from this in line 4 fields that are skipped. So I guess I want to do this again, basically. Man, that is so ugly. So what I want to say is, if I have Ziggy options and I have 6 skip fields, and skip fields is the right kind, then here I say, if index of scalar type, I think it should be in numeric enum. You know what? It doesn't matter because this is not runtime. This is comp time. So for Um, if sep equals but I can't do this, can I? Label not found outer. What are you talking about? It's in the inline for. Can I not do that? I should be able to. Well, let's see what we get from this guy. Label not found outer. Wait, nobody's putting labels on inline force? Really? Just me? Oh no, Zig, what are you doing to me? Well, we have a variable then. Var continue false. If sf is equals idx, I think labels on loops go on the left of 4. Of 4, you might be right. Let's see. Yeah, you're right. Outer. We're still not pruning those cases. Were we not correctly pruning those things? Why are we not correctly pruning those fields? Oh, look at this. Here we're not pruning. Here we need to prune. Still not pruned. The heck? We're failing to prune stuff. Why are we failing to prune stuff? Let's make this a compile error. Oh no, but it has to be in here. Here has Ziggy. I would expect this to go off. If it doesn't go off, then there's something bad. Okay, so we did hit has Ziggy. So that's good. We did hit has Ziggy. Let me try to put it also here. Why am I not pruning those paths? Man, I hate my insane metaprogramming. How do we sneak in there? How did we sneak in there? So parse struct is the only thing that deals with structs. Oh, we're also doing t equals undefined. This is interesting. And then we have finalize struct, which I'm guessing sets default values for stuff we haven't seen. But you know what? Actually, never mind. Here it doesn't matter that we prune, because this guy, I'm guessing it's not parsing. This is just saying, look at all fields that we haven't seen. All the fields that we haven't seen are expected to have a default value. And so we assign the default value to them. Otherwise, we complain that it's a missing field. That is absolutely correct. So this is fine. This doesn't need pruning. That's fine. We need pruning south of everything that could call parse recursively. So the problem is that in here, when we find a field, then we do parse value on it. And we need to prune this. So we need to make sure that we do not do that in other cases. So I guess it's this continue outer that it's not doing its job of pruning. But it should. This continue outer should prune. Are we not? Is this the problem? That we're not pruning as we should? So I guess we can do if error, and then instead of doing continue outer, we do an if. We can do comp time var. Let's call it like do parse field set to true. Then we do this. We don't continue outer, but we do set it to false. We stop looping. And then here we say if do parse field and only if these two things are true at the same time, only then we call do parse field. Will this prune? This should prune. I think the continue approach should also prune. Okay, this does not prune. What the heck? So it means that there's something else that we're not, somewhere else where this stuff is sneaking back in somehow. That is insane. That is absolutely insane. Also, what if I comment this out? Whoops, I forgot this. Am I still gonna get a build error? Like, this is now broken, but does it compile error? It does not compile error, you motherfucker. So we are correctly failing to prune. Like, we are definitely failing to prune. How? How are we failing to prune? Crazy. So it's definitely this guy. It's definitely that guy. Because we're failing to prune. How do we do this, man? How do we do this? Why are we not preventing this thing from... Let's do this. Maybe I'm making a mistake somewhere else. Let me double check that I'm setting this guy properly. Oh shit. Pubvar skip fields. Whoops. 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 Was this a missing pub all along? Sort of compiling value depends on runtime condition. That's not exactly true. But you know what? We now know what's going on. I think. So maybe we can do the... Maybe now we can do the short version. Let's see. This does not depend on runtime anything. Skip fields. That's a comp time value. These should all be comp time. Okay, show me now. Oh, that is the runtime condition. Runtime control flow inside runtime block. Runtime control flow here. Okay, let's make sure that that's not runtime control flow, because it shouldn't be. What makes you think that this is... So what's SF? SF is for looping on skip fields. SF IDX. Well, let's make it comp time. Can this be comp time? Comp time const. Comp time const is redundant. Instead of the initialization expression with comp time. Okay, let's make it comp time var. Jesus Christ. Okay. Okay, we agree that it's const and it's not comp time in any way. Okay, it shouldn't be. So I guess it's this guy that's considered runtime. No, don't tell me. It's on me. I made it a var, not a const. Okay, what should now work correctly? No. Still thinks that it's runtime stuff. How? Pub const. Dude, I can't make it more const than this. This is already max const here. Okay, more const than this, I can't. Let's go back here. Why do we think that this is runtime? As decal or info in type info, having private decals would be nice. Make it public then. Look, Ziggy is Ziggy is not the kind of language where you can expect, you know, the thing that you make something private, but then you have some ways to work around private. If it's that's why fields don't have privacy basically. Because every time you make something public or private, then somebody will have a more or less legitimate reason to want to bypass that. I don't need the decal. I just want to print a warning if it wasn't set to pub. Mm-hmm. I mean, technically, that's the same problem here, right? You forget to set it to pub, and then now you have these problems. What I don't understand is why does Zig think that this is runtime stuff? Oh, I know why. Because the for is considered runtime. Make it inline, and now the for is considered comp time. Even though I don't care, there we fucking go. We're in business, and we have skip fields, and it works. That is so nice. Finally, man. Finally. So then, if I want to get to the next level of comp time, what I would do is, since in my case, everything prefixed with an underscore, I want to consider private, then I could make this like I could have a tiny function here that looks at my type and basically outputs this guy based on which fields start with an underscore. Inline for is always comp time. Well, the iteration variable is available at comp time in an inline for and is not considered available at comp time in a non-inline for. No, there is no way for me to use the comp time keyword. The way I could have fixed this without inline for would have been to have this inline thing, I think it would have been to have this thing run and then set a variable, but no, that variable will have to be comp time. I think this is the only way of making it work currently. You have to make it an inline for. But I think it's fine. Okay, this is all resolved at comp time. Like, this slows down compile times, but that's pretty much it. Okay, and now we're passing tests. Like, this is a test that has successfully run. There's a bunch of spam because I have a bunch of prints that spam stuff. But that's pretty much it. So we have skip fields. So let me say that we succeeded at doing this. Okay, next is validator interface. Do we want to provide a way to users to validate fields? How do we do this? How do we do this? Hello, X2. So let me maybe think of what I would like to see as a user. Man, the skip field stuff is so good. Also, you know who's missing skip fields though? You know what? Let's be good, guys. The serializer is missing skip fields. Absolutely, totally, brutally missing this. Stringify union. Stringify struct inner. Stringify struct, what does it do? Oh, it does omit curly stuff, and then inner does fields. Let's see. Field count. Emit null fields. Inline for fields. If type info is optional, then, and if field is different than null, then increase C. Otherwise, if it's an optional and it's set to null, you don't increase C. Field count, how does that work then? So if fields is greater than 0, switch on the type of the first field. I'm confused. In that level, why is T0 dealt with in a special manner? Why is it special cased? This is code from Der Teufel, so I'm not familiar with it. Why are we treating specially the first field? Break BLK. I'm curious. In any case, let's look at the other ones. So, oh, there's skip. You skip a field if it's an optional. You look at the field type. And if not, skip. I mean, you could do skip continue. That also works. I think we can also do this. And then I'm going to need to copy some stuff from parser. Okay, with this should work. Can we Zig build test? We should have tests for this serialization stuff, I think. It does not work. Except that type found struct. Wait, what the heck is T? Oh no! No! Teufel, no! 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 The uppercase D tricked me into thinking that this was actually the type instead of being the type info. The type info shouldn't be uppercase. Let's rename it to info, not into info. And let's have const T equals. There we go. Okay. Unable to resolve comp time value. Oh, this is like comp time skip. Okay, never mind. Sorry, this is runtime skip. So, right, because this is based on runtime values. I'm a dum-dum. I think there's also a problem though, because here IDX looks at info fields 1 and then the index starts at 2. What's going on? What is going on there? Why is it like this? What? What? Why is this like this? So this is going to be IDX minus 1. And this is also assuming that the first field is not skip. I still don't understand why one field is special case compared to all the others. Like, what's the problem with doing this from 0? I mean, there has to be a reason, otherwise this wouldn't look like this. Man, everywhere else T is that uppercase thing. Okay, so you know what? Let me undo the theory name. Let's leave it as T. We need to do this also with the 0th field. The thing is, I don't know why. What's the why this? I don't get why this. I need to ask their Teufel. So I would say this is something, but it's not all of it. It's probably not fully working. Okay, so this is complicated. I'm not sure I understand it. So I think I'm gonna leave it as that, probably. So I think that I'm happy with this part of Ziggy then. It means that we want to then move to the next thing, which is the next thing is validator interface. How would that look like? Oh man, look at it now. There's no random parse functions everywhere. Now we can have our own parse functions. So the way I would expect this to work is that when I do the Ziggy parse, I do from matter meta, and then I kind of should be able to do something like validator. And then validator. This should be more like a field validator, maybe? No, this is just a generic validator. So then my validator gets passed in. There should be maybe parse validator. So it's not in here. Something like this. You pass in also the type, I think. Validator, validator. And what do we say about validator? So it should be something like this. And validator should implement something like pub function validate field start field. And the type is passed the comp time, which is expected to be a struct. And then the field name or field index. And then the value. But then we also need another info. So we need context also. So like this. Field index, value, and then also the token. Something like this. Like validate struct field. And so that's a function that gets called every time we're being asked to validate a struct field. And the idea is when we do this, we are given the token location, which allows us to do something like this. I don't know. And then down here we do something like, let's say that my validator, I only care about the top level struct. So I'm gonna validate on page. So I'm gonna say something like if t is different than page, then return. And then so we are assuming that we're testing a page. And then we're saying is the index is the field, maybe instead of field IDX, we could return a enum of it, although it should be trivial to do that. So we could say field equals field index, and then we say we switch on the field. And if the field is dot, for example, aliases, if the field is aliases, then value is so then we know that value is the value of aliases, and then we can assert on it. I like this interface. I think this makes sense. We want parse leaky validator. Okay, so I'm gonna take a break and have some lunch. So give me like a, I don't know, 20-minute lunch break, something like this. And then we will work on this. All right, this is not Helix. Let's add parentheses. Okay, I'll be right back.